A good evening to you all, and thank you for joining us here on Rwanda Television News tonight. We do hope you had yourselves a productive Thursday. Now here's a sneak peek of our edition. Rwanda's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Olivier Nduhungirehe, affirms that Rwanda's international relations are currently strong thanks to the good reputation it has built abroad, attributed to good governance and outstanding achievements the country makes continues. The National Bank of Rwanda has highlighted continued robust growth in the economy as GDP expanded by 7.2% in the first half of 2025, signaling promising prospects ahead. On the international scale, U.S. tariffs and trade will top the agenda of a meeting between Canada's Prime Minister and Mexico's President on Thursday. We are glad to have your company tonight, coming to you straight from the heart of Africa, Kigali, and my name is Martina Abera. Let us begin by informing you of a communique that was released by the Office of the Prime Minister today, September 18th, 2025. Pursuant to the Constitution of the Republic of Rwanda, especially in its Articles 116, 112, and 111, today, September 18th, 2025, His Excellency the President has made the following appointments. These are cabinet members: Mr. Yves Iradukunda, Minister of State in the Ministry of ICT and Innovation. In the Office of the President, Mr. Dieudonné Gatete, the Director of Cabinet; Ms. Viviane Mukachizima, Deputy Director of Cabinet; Ambassador Claude Nikobisanzwe, Chief of Protocol. In the Office of the Prime Minister, Mr. Leonard Minega Rugwabiza, Head of the Delivery Unit. In the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Ambassador Moses Rugema, proposed High Commissioner of the Republic of Rwanda to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Ministry of Infrastructure, Mr. Kanoth Manishimye, Permanent Secretary. Ministry of Public Service and Labor, Mr. Clement Kabirigi, Permanent Secretary. Ministry of ICT and Innovation, Mr. Eraste Rurangwa, Permanent Secretary. National Commission for Human Rights, Mr. Tadi Tuyizere, Vice Chairperson. Rwanda Public Procurement Authority, Mr. Jimmy Christian Byukusenge, Director General. Rwanda Utility and Regulatory Authority, Colonel Claude Mhosi, Deputy Director General. This was signed on behalf of His Excellency President Paul Kagame, on behalf of the President. Moving ahead, Rwanda's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Olivier Nduhungirehe, affirms that Rwanda's international relations are strong thanks to the good reputation it has built abroad. Attributed to good governance and outstanding achievements the country continues to make. These were said on Thursday in a discussion with the representatives of political organizations in the National Consultative Forum of Political Organizations General Assembly. We have more.
hari urundi rwego narwo ruzahura i Washington, urwego rwa Joint Oversight Committee.
In these discussions, the Foreign Affairs Minister, Olivier Nduhungirehe, elaborated on the current Rwanda's international relations image.
Usanga u Rwanda rwaragize izina.
Rwanda has built a reputation attributed to its journey, the head of state, visionary, and the actions of development done in these 31 years.
Muri iyi imyaka 31 ishize byo kwiteza imbere.
On the Rwanda-Africa relations, Minister Nduhungirehe affirmed its strongness mainly due to its active role in various initiatives aimed at finding solutions to the challenges facing the continent's population. Minister Nduhungirehe added that the challenge remains Rwanda's existential threats, rising mainly from Eastern DRC and affecting the relations with African countries, supporting the DRC government in destabilizing the region and Rwanda specifically. With the DRC government allying with genocidal FDLR, Minister Nduhungirehe affirmed Rwandans' concerns on the trustworthiness of the DRC in complying with the Washington Peace Agreement.
Izo mpungenge niziterwa nuko kuri Repubulika Iharanira Demokarasi ya Kongo nta cyahindutse.
These concerns arise from that on the DRC side, none has changed. It's as if we did not sign any peace agreement. The DRC has once again resorted to using mercenaries from Colombia, while hate speech and violence against Banyamulenge and Tutsi communities continue to escalate. These remain our concerns, and we informed the mediators. According to the Foreign Affairs Minister, the situation in the Eastern DRC also portrays UN biasness and failure to protect and securing peace in the region. There is a possibility that there are some failures in UN bureaucracy because wherever it is found, there are issues. We always provide reports and facts demonstrating their failures and not learning from the past. The things happening in the region are all done at the UN watch and no denouncing. Minister Nduhungirehe also condemned the EU Parliament's recent call for the immediate and unconditional release of Victoire Ingabire. Most of them do not even know the information on it. They just refer to some biasness. They haven't even arrived in Rwanda. So there's a government-to-government diplomacy, but there should also be a strong parliament-to-parliament diplomacy. There should be Rwandan delegations moving to Strasbourg, Brussels, Netherlands to explain because the situation is understandable. The Secretary General of the RPF in Otanyi, Weras Kasamagera, also called on political organizations in Rwanda to denounce such resolution. I am calling on the spokesperson of our forum to make a resolution of denouncing the EU resolution, and after that we denounce anyone willing to bring back divisionism in this country. This decision was also concurred by other various members of the National Consultative Forum of Political Organizations in Rwanda. I want to add that in their resolution, where they demonstrate that opposition in Rwanda is unsafe, I would like to say that opposition in Rwanda has no problem. They do not speak for us. We are able to speak for ourselves. Following these discussions, the General Assembly of the National Consultative Forum of Political Organizations in Rwanda elected a new bureau. MP Muzana Alice from the PSD was elected as a spokesperson, and Sengyumva Dedone from the PPC party elected as her deputy.
The National Bank of Rwanda has highlighted continued robust growth in the economy as GDP expanded by 7.2% in the first half of 2025, signaling promising prospects ahead. This was during Monetary Policy and Financial Stability Statement, which aims to assess economic and financial developments during the first half of 2025 and provide an outlook for the rest of the year. William Evans Mutabazi has the rest of the story.
According to the Monetary Policy and Financial Stability Statement, which aims to assess economic and financial developments during the first half of 2025 and provide an outlook for the rest of the year, Rwanda's economy kept its momentum in 2025, driven by services, industry, and a rebound in agriculture.
Rwanda's economy in the first half of 2025 remained robust, with real GDP growth at 7.2% in the first 6 months of the year, as announced yesterday by the National Institute of Statistics. The strong GDP growth that we see was supported by first services sector, which grew by 9.4%, then the industry sector growing by 8.8%, and modest agricultural recovery for the 6 months at a growth of 1.7%. But we need to point out that in the second quarter of 2025, we've seen agricultural growth reaching 8%.
With such strong growth, Rwanda's financial sector is strategically positioned for the 2025 UCI Road World Championship, says the Deputy Governor, Honorable Nick Barige, emphasizing the country's financial strength.
The financial sector is well prepared, I would say, to meet the needs of international guests and the participants. And I would say from three perspectives. One, in terms of readiness to serve and meet their financial needs. We have infrastructure to be able to accept international cards. We have digital payments that have been put in place, and as you've heard, also have forexes that are able to meet the needs of the participants that are engaged in the world cycling. Two, as you saw from the governor's statement, the financial sector is also supporting the other sectors that complement these kind of events, be it hospitality, be it transport, either from financing their needs and also from insuring them. That's the other perspective that I would look at it. Third is also to appreciate that events such as this give an opportunity not only for the financial sector, but also for the country to showcase its readiness, to showcase its ability as a regional hub for finance, for investments, and for innovation.
The statement also highlights that Rwanda's exports grew while imports increased, thereby leading to a 3.6% widening of the trade deficit. This also helped ease pressure on the Rwandan franc in the foreign exchange market, with depreciation slowing to 2.92% compared to 3.73% in 2024.
Rwanda's international trade performance was very strong in the first 6 months of 2025. As we can see, exports increased by 6.2% in the first 6 months, driven by mainly coffee exports, minerals, and non-traditional exports. On the other hand, imports grew, but at a slower pace, at 4.5%, and this resulted in a trade deficit recording a modest increase of 3.6%, but we can see that in the second quarter of 2025, meaning from April to June, we actually had a narrowing trade deficit, which is a good development. And these positive developments of the external sector explain why our currency has stabilized. With the foreign exchange pressures easing, the Rwandan franc's depreciation against the US dollar at the end of June stood at 2.9%, which compares to a higher depreciation rate that we had in the same period in 2024, where the depreciation at that time was at 3.7%.
Global economic growth is projected to remain subdued, while inflation in Rwanda will remain within the target band. William Evans, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, William, for that report. Moving ahead, as the countdown to the UCI Road World Championships 2025 continues, the newly inaugurated UCI World Cycling Center Regional Development Satellite in Rwanda has become a hub of preparation and ambition. Cyclists from 38 African countries and Pakistan have gathered in Bugesera for an intensive training camp, sharpening their form and building confidence ahead of the global event. Speaking to us, many expressed not only their readiness but also a strong determination to showcase the continent's growing talent.
For the training is good. It was good because I started, the training camp started at the beginning of the year. So I trust my training. I believe that I'm ready enough now. And I just can't wait to participate in the World Championship this year in East Africa, Rwanda, Kigali. Hey, my friend, Rwanda, the altitude is a bit higher than Uganda, but we got here earlier so that we can get used to the altitude. Now it is good for me, but at first it was a bit hard, but now it's good. I'm 19, that makes me competing under 23. I'm going to be doing time trial on 22, mixed relay on 24, and then road race 25. Yeah, it is my first time to compete in World Championship. It is my first time. People who participated more years than me, they tell me that this is a hard race because it takes the preparation is for the whole year, which makes it hard because you don't compete in only Africa, but all the whole world. That's why it's called World Championship. So it's hard. It's like challenging ourselves. Yeah, the message I can give to my fellow Ugandans in Rwanda is, who are cyclists, like they adapt the culture for Rwanda, and then they come teach us who will stay in Uganda. Uganda, in these terms of sport, in these terms of cycling, it is not well known, but I think since the World Championship is in Rwanda and we are neighbors, I think it will start to develop because of Rwanda. But in cycling is a bit low, Rwanda is high. But since the world is in Africa, I think by next year we'll be on another level of cycling. I think my fellows are coming on Friday. 2 girls, and I don't know the number yet of the ladies. I'm not sure of the number of the men, but they are coming. It is an opportunity for me to raise my nation's flag because the sport is not well known. This is really, really a big opportunity.
I've taken now so far 2 weeks in the camp, 2 weeks and something like 3 days. And we came, the purpose was to prepare for the World Championships, which are going to be held on 21st maybe. I would like to raise the national flag of Uganda. We are not good in cycling so much, but we shall try our level best to be known. The first it was in Kenya, Eldoret. Yeah, it was African Championships. Yeah, so that one I never managed to finish up the race. I crashed. Yeah, and I was caught by the DNF. This camp is helping us so much in training. Yeah, because there are some skills which we have not been knowing at home because we were not performing some skills, yeah, like the sessions. Because for us at home we had different trainings, but here I think the training is quite good. Yeah, and we are really improving because we are getting ready for the World Champs. Yeah, the country is really good and the roads are nice. Yeah, not like our Uganda. The roads here are really clean and cycling is good. People give respect to the cyclists. Yeah, that's something which is good. The roads are somehow they are like having a lot of climbs. Yeah, because in Uganda you must move to some western parts like northern, western, yeah, most especially western when you are coming to Rwanda. Yeah, there are most of hills. Yeah, but this side I think it's good and the elevation is too high according to ours at home. Yeah, it really makes it nice because it's hard to get an African country which is organizing the World Champs because they're most especially found in Europe, which normally organized like now. Next year it will be held in Canada. So it is giving courage to the Africans to mobilize cyclists, to encourage them, to give them support for the cycling because it's really good. It's really a good game and it will help most of us. And the countries neighboring like now Kigali, yeah, because for us we are near and it's really giving us enough courage to continue cycling because most of us it's our talent. Yeah, and we got the passion and we really hoping for good.
It means the world to me. I never thought my decision of focusing on cycling can take me to the World Championship. And to compete in Rwanda, it's also special because it is African first time to host World Championship, and it's my first time to compete in World Championship. So for me, it's very special as much as for Rwanda people. My first 2 days I suffer a lot because there's a lot of elevation and from where I come from, my country, it's very flat. But after 3 days, 4 days and staying with the group, surrounding myself with Rwanda champions and national team, I found it now easy, and I'm very proud of my journey, and I cannot wait for the race day so I can compete.
Moving ahead, businesses in Djibouti have commended the cargo services provided by the Rwandan airline RwandAir, which operates flights to Djibouti. They note that RwandAir effectively supports maritime routes, which Djibouti relies on heavily. We have more.
A RwandaAir cargo flight landed at Djibouti International Airport from Dubai before continuing its journey to Kigali. The aircraft carries a variety of goods, including pharmaceuticals, food products, and other essential items.
This
demonstrates the cooperation between the two countries. What you see here is that cargo coming from the United States, the Netherlands, and other countries via Dubai can reach Djibouti thanks to RwandaAir. For example, all pharmaceuticals destined for Yemen pass through Kigali. This is very important and aligns with our objectives. Currently, we are focusing on food products. We want to receive vegetables and fruits, but especially flowers from Kigali to Djibouti. Eventually, we will also be able to transport all maritime food products to Kigali.
Avec RwandaAir.
Djiboutians appreciate RwandaAir's services, which facilitate trade with different parts of the world.
Nous apprécions beaucoup les services offerts par Rwanda.
We greatly value RwandaAir's operations, which help us connect maritime and air transport. We deliver goods at 28 cities across 24 African countries. We chose RwandaAir because we did not want to rely on a single airline. Previously, we used Ethiopian Airlines, and now RwandaAir is an additional option. Soon, Egypt Air will also be part of our network. RwandaAir and Ethiopian Airlines support our operations to the east and west, and now we aim to expand to the south and north towards Europe.
Sud-nord, vers l'Europe.
Beyond connecting Rwanda and Djibouti, RwandaAir offers Djibouti a strategic solution for delivering goods to countries in the region. This aligns with their goal of developing trade that integrates both air and maritime transport.
Concurrently, when you see the
In fact, some cargo shipped via sea passes through Djibouti en route to Uganda, facilitated by RwandaAir. Rwanda can be considered as a regional trade hub, and many investors are beginning to come to Djibouti using RwandaAir because of its excellent services. Rwanda is indeed a key center for regional commerce.
Rwanda is doing is the app for the rest of the separation.
Currently, RwandaAir operates 2 weekly flights between Kigali and Djibouti. Djiboutians hope that its services will expand to include passenger transport in addition to cargo, as travelers from Kigali to Djibouti often have to transit through other countries, particularly Ethiopia. William Evans, RwandaTV News.
The French ambassador to Rwanda has reaffirmed that France will continue to cooperate with Rwanda in combating impunity, particularly by prosecuting individuals suspected of participating in the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi who are on French territory. This statement comes as the appeal trial of Dr. Sosthene Munyemana takes place in Paris. He was previously sentenced to 24 years in prison for crimes related to the genocide against the Tutsi. Members of the peace journalism organization Pax Press highlighted the importance of having sufficient information about trials conducted outside Rwanda. Access to such information enables journalists to report accurately and produce stories that are informative and useful to the public. We know very well that it is important for people to be informed about case codes that concerns them, especially when it comes to cases related to the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. It is something that is of concern. People need to know what happened and also to know what is next with the perpetrators wherever they are around the world, and how does it go when they are caught, and if justice is served. Since 2014, France has been handling cases involving suspects of the genocide against the Tutsi who had fled Rwanda. Aurélie Royer, the French ambassador to Rwanda, stated that France will continue cooperating with Rwanda to ensure that justice is served for those responsible.
Une priorité pour nous, la lutte contre l'impunité.
Preventing impunity, especially for those who committed the genocide against the Tutsi, is a top priority for us. As you know, our relations have improved significantly since President Emmanuel Macron was elected. However, there remains a pressing need to eliminate this hate speech that continues to spread, because if such rhetoric persists, it can ultimately lead to further crimes. Tukizeimana Albert Baudouin, coordinator of the Pax Press, emphasized that holding perpetrators of the genocide against the Tutsi accountable is a tangible contribution to building lasting peace in Rwanda.
We are training
our journalists and reminding them of the behaviors and ethics that should guide their work so that the news stories they produce truly serve communities, especially in sensitive cases related to the genocide against the Tutsi. Such reporting should help survivors understand how the trials proceeded, what decisions were made about the perpetrators, and whether they were punished. When survivors see the perpetrators have been held accountable, it provides them with reassurance and a sense of calm. Jean Bosco Rushingabigwi, head of Department of the Media Sector Coordination Monitoring Department at the Rwanda Governance Board, assured that efforts are underway to support journalists in accessing information on trials taking place abroad. The appeal trial of Dr. Sosten Munyemana began in Paris earlier this week. Next year, 4 additional trials are planned for genocide suspects who had fled Rwanda. The Rwanda Governance Board has emphasized that the participation of both Rwandan and international non-governmental organizations in revising and implementing the national policy on combating money laundering, terrorism, and the financing of proliferation of weapons of mass destruction is essential for strengthening Rwanda's credibility on the international stage. We have more. The Rwanda Governance Board has begun holding discussions with various institutions under its mandate to help the country properly prepare a draft law that will revise the national policy on combating money laundering, terrorism, and the financing of the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction, which was first adopted in 2023. Representatives of non-governmental organizations say these consultations are timely as they are among the key actors who will implement the activities under this policy and the related laws that will stem from it. The head of Civil Society and Political Organizations Department at the Rwanda Governance Board, Judith Kazaire, explains the reasons why the national policy on combating money laundering, terrorism, and the financing of the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction is being revised.
We were doing consultations on the national policy against money laundering, financing of terrorism, and financing of proliferation of arms of mass destruction. Why it is important for civil society organizations to provide their inputs in this policy is because they are also concerned. You see, as non-profit organizations, they mobilize money from different partners, from different funders, and they have to do due diligence to make sure that they are really using clean money to do this development work. Plus, in addition to that, it is important to have this policy because it contains measures that are meant to protect the financial integrity of the country. Because if you are threatened by, if a country's financial system is threatened by terrorism, then the country loses trust on the global stage. You know, you lose investors, you get disconnected from the global financial system. So it is important to know that even if we are talking about non-governmental organizations today, even different other sectors in the country are working very hard to put in place preventive measures or to punish these crimes of money laundering and financing of terrorism.
It is expected that such discussions will continue with other institutions, particularly those using the state budget or funding from development partners and donors for programs aimed at promoting development and the well-being of citizens. The Rwanda Space Agency has signed an agreement with the African Risk Capacity Agency expected to boost the agriculture sector. Gladys has more.
In this agreement, the Chief Technology Officer of the Rwanda Space Agency, George Kwizera, explained that there will be an exchange of data aimed at preventing disasters that could affect crops.
In space, there are efficient ways of collecting data easily using satellites. This data will be used to assess the potential impacts of disasters, and such disasters often affect agriculture and livestock. Therefore, the RSA will help provide reliable data showing the impacts of specific disasters.
The Group Director General of the Africa Risk Capacity Agency, Dr. Jean Chrysostome Ngabitsinze, said that following this agreement, the agency will strengthen its collaboration with Rwanda in disaster management.
You know, the main shocks we have is in agriculture and the livestock side. When you see in terms of agriculture, the drought, the rains issues we have, the floods we have here in Rwanda. For that reason, ACK has been working with the Ministry of Agriculture and as even a focal point for the government of Rwanda in our organization. So the agriculture will benefit from the work we will do because we want to finalize the model, the drought model, so Rwanda can begin to benefit from the money, the insurance we give to the countries. The first one is just to help Rwanda to finalize the model because we need the model well done, to test it and to approve it. That is the first one. The second one is to work in terms of capacity building. We have a department in research and development. We have support from countries, international countries, where we have a consultant doing that. So if we can connect with space agency team, we can learn more and we can support each other. So capacity building, the second one. Then the last one is the policy making, let's say, is the policy evidence, the strategies we can have in our countries because we have good data.
The Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources, Dr. Olivier Kamana, noted that this cooperation will help the agricultural sector prevent losses and plan better using collected data.
This agreement is going to allow us to get access to satellite images, and we'll be using the satellite images to calculate the losses and to compensate our farmers based on the data from the satellite images. The images we'll get access to will also be used to monitor the progress of cultivation of the season. Now we are, for example, starting the biggest agriculture season, which is season 2026A, we only rely on empirical methods in measuring the cultivated area. But getting access to satellite data will enable us to get accurate and more precise data on the progress of the season, and also to predict potential hazards that may occur during the season, given the precision of the information that will be at our disposal. So we were using empirical methods, which are just measurements using metrics that are really old-fashioned. But now we are going to use data generated by satellites, and this is going to increase our level of responsiveness, because after using the satellite images, this is going to enable us to provide a quick response and provide assistance to vulnerable farmers in case of risks.
It is expected that the implementation of this agreement between the two institutions will begin immediately.
A beginning. From nature comes refreshing fruity goodness that keeps you going every day. With every pack complementing life's best moments. Not one, not two, but 5 different fruity flavors. And this journey keeps giving. Introducing Inyanji's new fruity juice flavors, guava and cocktail. Now available at your nearest shop. Always ask for Inyanji.
Nyiri muto arababwiraga data bati ntabwo wagira umukamo mwinshi utunze inka imwe, ariko nigeze acika intege. Mama akinjira mu bucuruzi hari abamubwiraga bati ntabwo watera imbere udakorera mu iduka rigezweho, ariko ntibyamusubije inyuma, yakoranaga umwete. Njya muri kaminuza hari abanshidikanyagaho bavuga ko nashobora kaminuza naturuka mu muryango wifashije, ariko byaragiye nandiza amateka mashya. Igihe cyo gutera ishema umuryango wanjye kigeze, bamwe bakomeje kumbwira bati ntabwo watera umuryango wawe ibyishimo n'ishema, ariko narabishoboye. Hari abakekaga ko nasigira umurage ukomeye abankomokaho, ariko ubu mfite uruganda rutunganya amata. Banki ya Kigali yabaye umufatanyabikorwa wanjye mu rugendo rwose, inzozi zanjye zibimamo. Bigereho.
Thank you for sticking with us on RTV News, and a warm welcome back to other stories making headlines on the international scene. U.S. tariffs and trade will top the agenda of a meeting between Canada's Prime Minister and Mexico's President on Thursday. Mark Carney and Claudia Sheinbaum will also try to reset strained relations during talks in Mexico City. Al Jazeera with the details.
Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney's visit to Mexico is all about finding new investment opportunities between the two countries, says Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum.
Prime Minister Carney is coming to strengthen the Canada-Mexico relationship. Apart from the trade deal we have, it's to boost commerce, investment and the economy in certain sectors.
But the two leaders also want to talk about something more, the USMCA free trade agreement which they share with the United States. It comes up for review in 2026. The US has been an increasingly tough trading partner, imposing tariffs on both countries. Teaming up might be the way for them to get a bit more of what they want, say analysts.
I do believe that the plan is, you know what, let's join forces and gear up, as you said, like in front of the 2026 USMCA renegotiation. And maybe if they are both countries in sync or in coordination in certain subjects that are key in certain sectors or tariffs or, as we said, right, policies regarding migration, security, etc., they can deliver or have a higher power of negotiation in front of the US.
But the two countries are also right now in the process of getting their relationship back on track. That's because last autumn, some Canadian politicians, including the then Foreign Minister, seemed to suggest that perhaps the United States and Canada should go it alone. That didn't go down too well here.
Good afternoon.
Now there's a new Canadian administration and a new political calculus. Prime Minister Mark Carney sees Mexico as very much part of the package. That was clear when he invited President Sheinbaum to the G7 meeting in Canada this June, despite the fact that Mexico isn't part of the group.
There is no progress unless it's shared. And this is the spirit that the President brings, that Mexico brings, and that Canada shares with you.
President Sheinbaum then gave him a football made by Mexican craftspeople, a reference to the fact that the two countries will host the World Cup together with the US next year. They'll likely talk about that this Thursday, about gas, trains and mining also, all joint interests.
Well, that means they
But one thing that seems sure to also come up, President Trump and his administration, their common partner and problem. John Holman, Al Jazeera, Mexico City.
Entrepreneurs in Taiwan believe they have found the secret to sustainable fashion, an all-natural textile produced from bananas. Al Jazeera once more.
The fibrous stem of the banana plant is usually thrown away. But in Taiwan, some entrepreneurs sense an appealing opportunity. They believe these discards could be turned into a textile.
Banana fiber actually performs better than regular cotton in terms of water consumption, absorbency and supply stability, making it highly promising for future applications.
The banana plants are brought to the factory. There, they get crushed and pressed, and are sterilized and fermented, then dried out and ground into fibers. Some of this will be turned into a yarn that can be blended with cotton to make socks. It can also be turned into a kind of vegan substitute for leather. Producers here say their ultimate ambition is to make footwear without using any synthetic materials.
What we hope to achieve in the future is a fully natural shoe, where every part of the shoe is made from natural materials, because with this kind of shoe, when it's buried, it will completely break down into glucose and become nutrients for plants. That's our ultimate goal.
But challenges still lie ahead. Producers say they need to establish consistent standards and get certification from respected industry bodies. And big brands will need to be convinced that bananas offer a route to achieving sustainability in fashion. That means there may still be a way to go before we move from slipping on banana peels to slipping on shoes made from banana plants. Fintan Monaghan, Al Jazeera.
And that Al Jazeera story marks the end of our bulletin. Before we close off, let's have a recap of our headlines. Rwanda's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Olivier Nduhungirehe, affirms that Rwanda's international relations currently strong thanks to the good reputation it has built abroad, attributed to good governance and the outstanding achievements the country continues to make. The National Bank of Rwanda has highlighted continued robust growth in the economy as GDP expanded by 7.2% in the first half of 2025. On the international scale, U.S. tariffs and trade will top the agenda of a meeting between Canada's Prime Minister and Mexico's President on Thursday. And on that note, we've come to the end of tonight's English Bulletin. On behalf of the news production team as well as the technical team, thank you for sticking with us on RTV News. My name is Martina Abera, and until next time, stay safe, have a good night.